They said I was special, chosen, wanted, loved, but every family photo told the truth. One of these things didn't belong. And that thing was me. I was adopted at birth. No foster homes, no waiting. Just straight into a colonial house in Westfield, 2 parents who'd been trying for years, and twin siblings barely out of diapers themselves. My parents, Jennifer and Robert Chen, had struggled with infertility. Before the twins came along, a miracle they called it. Then 2 years later, they got the call about me. A teenage mother in Arizona had chosen them from a stack of hopeful families. They said I completed the picture. But even as a child, I could sense something different in how they looked at me compared to my twin siblings, Grace and Nathan. It wasn't less love, it was careful love. Love with conditions. I wasn't part of the original plan. I was added later, and the seam was always visible if you knew where to look. The nursery they prepared was perfect cream walls, hand-painted clouds, everything new. But it was the converted den, while Grace and Nathan shared the master bedroom's adjacent nursery, with built-in shelves and morning light. A small thing, but I think I knew I was the afterthought. At 6, I asked my mother why I didn't look like anyone else. We were sorting through photo albums, and there it was, page after page of Asian features, straight black hair, and Jennifer's almond-shaped eyes. Then there was me, pale skin, auburn curls, and green eyes that seemed to hold questions no one wanted to answer. Families don't always look the same, sweetie, Jennifer said carefully. Love makes a family, not appearance. Good answer. Right answer. But it didn't explain the grocery store stares or why Grace and Nathan inherited Jennifer's dimples while my features came from nowhere. At 8, I started walking behind the family in public, hoping it would be less obvious that I didn't match. One memorable incident at Chuck E. Cheese for the twins' birthday. A mother from their class approached Jennifer while I was in the bathroom. "Your kids are adorable, and how sweet that you're babysitting too." When I returned, Jennifer's smile was strained, and she kept her hand on my shoulder protectively, which somehow made me feel more different, not less. At 10, I stopped asking questions. Because every time I did, Jennifer's smile faded, and Robert found urgent projects in the garage. The silence became its own answer. I never caused trouble. While Grace threw tantrums and Nathan got suspended for pranks, I was the perfect child. Straight A's violin practice without reminders, room cleaned before being asked. I thought if I was flawless, if I never gave them reason to regret their choice, maybe they'd forget I was different. Maybe I could earn my place. My report cards were immaculate. "She's such a pleasure," teachers would say. "So mature for her age." What they didn't say was that I had to be mature. I was carrying the weight of proving I belonged. The violin became my sanctuary. Grace and Nathan quit lessons within months, but I played like breathing. By 12, I was performing solos and accompanying the school chorus. Music was where I disappeared into something entirely mine. When my bow touched the strings, I wasn't the adopted one, I was just the music itself. But perfection doesn't erase biology. It doesn't erase the family dinners where Robert's parents reached automatically for Grace and Nathan, while forgetting I existed until someone pointed it out. Then they'd include me with embarrassed pats that felt like afterthoughts. Perfection didn't erase the family reunion where I spent the afternoon taking photos instead of being in them, because relatives kept asking Jennifer, "Which one is yours again?" And perfection certainly didn't erase the night Nathan and I fought over something stupid, and he screamed, "At least I actually belong here. You're just the charity case." The words hung in the air like smoke. Grace gasped. Jennifer dropped her dish. Robert looked up from his paper, but no one corrected him. No one. Nathan apologized, later tears streaming. Jennifer talked about siblings saying hurtful things. Robert bought me ice cream and extended my bedtime, but that silence, the lack of immediate correction, told me everything about my place in the family hierarchy. At 22, home from college for Christmas, I was helping Robert organize his office. The letter was tucked behind tax documents from 2003, the year I was born. My name was written in unfamiliar handwriting, "For Lily when she's ready." My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Lily, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I need to write it anyway. Today is your first birthday and I'm sitting in my dorm room crying over cafeteria cake. I was 17 when I got pregnant. Your father disappeared when he found out. My parents kicked me out. I lived in my car before the adoption agency found me shelter. I didn't want to give you up. Every fiber of my being screamed against it. But I was failing classes, working 3 jobs, barely feeding myself. You deserved better. I chose the Chens because Jennifer cried talking about wanting another child, and Robert promised they'd tell you about me. I begged them to let me write every birthday. I'm studying education now. I think about you every day. I wonder if you like books, if you're stubborn like me, if you inherited my terrible sense of humor. I hope you're happy. I hope you feel loved. All my love, Amy Rebecca Torres. There were more letters. 15 of them chronicling Amy's life college graduation, first teaching job marriage to someone named David, the birth of my half-sister Emma, then my half-brother Tyler. She'd included photos. Pictures of herself at my age where I could finally see where my eyes came from, where my stubborn jaw originated. Pictures of Emma and Tyler who shared my pale skin and auburn hair. A family I'd never known existed. The last letter was dated 3 months ago. My dearest Lily, Emma just turned 16 and looks so much like you. She's applying to colleges, wants to study music. I wonder if you're musical too. I've been thinking about you more lately. David says I should hire an investigator, but I promised the Chens I wouldn't interfere. I just hope they're keeping their promise. I love you, sweetheart. I've loved you every single day for 22 years. Always yours, Mom Amy. I sat there for hours reading every word, studying every photo. When the family returned from shopping, I confronted them that night. I walked into the living room where Jennifer was wrapping gifts, the letters clutched in my hands. Why was all I could manage. Jennifer saw the letters. Her face went white. The wrapping paper fell. Lily, she started. Why didn't you tell me she wanted to know me? And you just kept it all hidden. Robert set down his book. We were protecting you. From knowing someone else loved me too. Jennifer started crying big, ugly sobs. We were scared you'd want to leave us for her. I was a child, but you took away my choice. We didn't want you confused. Robert said quietly. We wanted you to feel like you belonged here, but I was already confused. I'd been confused my whole life. Love doesn't hide truth. I told them, my voice breaking. Love walks through it together. The conversation that followed was our most honest ever. Jennifer admitted her terror from day one, terrified of messing up with an adopted child, terrified I'd resent them, terrified love wouldn't be enough. Robert confessed he'd wanted to give me the letters multiple times, but couldn't explain the delay. We thought if we loved you enough it wouldn't matter where you came from, Jennifer said. But it does matter, I said. Not because I love you less, but because it's part of who I am. You can't love someone completely while hiding half their story. The next week I called Amy. My hands shook as I dialed. Hello, a warm voice answered. Hi, I'm looking for Amy Torres. This is Amy. Who is... She paused, sharp intake of breath. Lily, are you... I'm Lily Chen. She cried. I cried. We talked for 3 hours. Meeting Amy and my half-siblings was like looking into a mirror I'd never known existed. Emma had my laugh. Tyler had my stubborn streak. Amy had my eyes, my hands, my tendency to cry at commercials. The most surprising thing was how easily we fit. No awkwardness, no betrayal. Love isn't finite. You don't run out by giving it to more people. Integration wasn't without challenges. Jennifer struggled with jealousy. Robert worried about divided loyalties. Grace and Nathan felt protective of their parents, while fascinated by suddenly having older half-siblings. Months of family therapy helped. Dr. Martinez explained that families can expand without anyone losing their place. "You're not replacing anyone," she told me. "You're adding chapters, not rewriting existing ones." Now I'm 34, married to a wonderful man named Alex, who understands that family is complicated. We have a daughter, Sophia, Amy Chen Rodriguez, her middle name honoring both grandmothers. Every day I tell Sophia where she comes from every part. She knows Mama has 2 families who love her. She knows Grandma Jennifer taught me violin and Grandma Amy taught me guitar. She knows family gatherings are wonderfully chaotic with multiple traditions mixing together. When Sophia asks questions, I answer honestly. She won't grow up feeling like a placeholder. She'll know she was born to take up her own space boldly and completely. Last month, Sophia announced, "Marcus says I can't have 2 grandmas named Grandma, but I told him love doesn't follow rules." She's right. Love doesn't follow rules. I teach violin now. One student is 7-year-old adopted boy named Kevin, quiet and watchful, always making sure he's not taking up too much space. Last week he asked, "Miss Lily, will my new parents keep me forever?" I stopped playing and faced him fully. "Kevin, I was adopted too as a baby." His eyes widened. "Really, and they kept you?" "They kept me. Sometimes it felt complicated and I had questions, but I always belonged, just like you belong." After his lesson, I played one of the pieces I'd learned years ago, the same music I'd used to disappear when the world felt complicated. But now, instead of disappearing, the music felt like coming home. The Chens loved me the best way they knew how. Amy loved me by letting go, then waiting 22 years for me to find my way back. Both loves were real. Both shaped me. To truly belong, you don't have to match the photo or fill a predetermined space. You just have to be seen, really seen in all your complicated, beautiful humanity. Last Christmas, we had our first combined family photo. The Chens, the Torres Rodriguez clan, Alex and Sophia and me. 18 people crowded into Amy's living room, sharing stories and tamales and Jennifer's famous cookies. Looking at that photo, I see something I couldn't see in childhood pictures. I was never the thing that didn't belong. I was never a puzzle piece forced into the wrong space. I was the bridge, the connection between worlds, the reminder that families can be built in beautiful, unconventional ways. The little girl who felt glued into the picture was wrong. I wasn't an addition to someone else's story. I was the beginning of a completely new chapter.